It's such a joy to be with you this morning. And before we actually go into the Word of God, there's a song I wanted us to sing to prepare our hearts together. Do we know the song, This Is the Air I Breathe? Anyone knows it? This is the air I breathe. Okay, maybe I may have to sing it then. But you know, as we think about the Word this morning, what do you love more than Jesus? I hope that God will really speak to your hearts and that He will challenge you and that you leave here more in love with Him than when you came in. And if I was to ask who loves Jesus this morning, can I see your hands? Okay, that was kind of slow and some people was going up like really slow. Let me see who loves Jesus this morning. Okay, as we look at the Word of God, I want you to compare your life to what the Word of God says. And let's see at the end if you really, really love Him this morning. But let's just try that song that I was thinking of. This is the air I breathe. And it says, Lord, your Holy Spirit living in me. Prepare my heart, Lord. If you know it, sing along. This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. Your very word spoken to me, and I'm desperate for you. Father, this morning we just want to thank you so much for your word. And we thank you that you are the air that we breathe. And we pray, Father, that your holy presence will just speak with us this morning. And that we just won't be hearers of the word, but we'll be willing to do as your word commands us, Father. That we'll be changed, that we'll be different this morning. Because of Jesus, because of your word. We pray these things in Jesus' name. What do you love more than Jesus? If you have your Bibles, turn with me to the book of 1 John, chapter 2, and verses 15 to 17. And you know, as we come to this passage, I remember a story that was told many years ago about a young lady who loved chocolate cakes. Is there anyone here who loves chocolate cakes this morning? You know the nice cakes with the chocolate filling, and then there's the cream on top, and then the sprinkles and the cherries, and you have to get it. I'm seeing some people salivated. Well, she loved chocolate cakes, but the doctor told her, you know something, because of your health, you cannot have chocolate cakes. You're going to be really sick if you continue like that. But she decided that even though she couldn't have chocolate cakes, she was going to make one for her husband. She had just gotten married about 3 months before, and her husband also loved cakes. So one Sunday like today, she did a wonderful cake, and after the Sunday service they went home, they had lunch, and it was time for the dessert. So she brought her the cake and she said, honey, I have a surprise for you. And when he saw the cake, he said, wow, it looks wonderful. What a pity that you can't have any, but I'll think of you as I eat. So he took a big slice and he started to eat. And he said, oh my darling, it is so wonderful. He took another slice, he started to eat, and after about a while, he had eaten half of the cake. And she was just there staring, rubbing her tummy, thinking, I would love to have peace, but I can't. So then he went and did what most men do after lunch on Sunday. Can anybody tell me what? Sleep. Okay, I guess all of you ladies know no men spoke, but he decided to take a sleep. And while he was sleeping, she decided to clean the kitchen and put away the rest of the food. So she wiped the table, she was sweeping the floor, and when she looked to her left, she saw something strange. The chocolate cake was looking at her directly in her eyes. But she wasn't looking at the cake. The chocolate cake was looking directly. And she thought to herself, you know something, I really love chocolate cakes. Can we say love? Love. No, that was weak. Some more energy. Love? Love. Okay, she said, I really love chocolate cakes. If I take one of those thin razor blade slices, you know, nobody will miss it. You never know. So she took a slice and she ate it. She continued to wash the dishes. She took another slice and ate it. She continued to sweep the floor. She took another slice and ate it. She put the rest of the food into the refrigerator, and before long the chocolate cake was gone. She had devoured it all. Now she was in trouble. She was wondering, what am I going to do? If my husband wakes up and sees the cake is missing, I am going to be in trouble. If he tells the doctor, I'm going to have more problems. So she did what most Christians do when they're in trouble. What's that? Pray. And she said, Lord, give me a light. And she had a brilliant idea. She decided to bake another chocolate cake. She ate half of it. And when her husband woke up, the chocolate cake was just as it was, because she loved chocolate cakes. But tell me, who got sick and had to be taken to the hospital for the next few weeks? That young lady. And you know, sometimes when we think about the things of this world, there are so many things that we love, and that there are so many things that we long after as young people. And I was young once. You might say that was a while, but I was young once. There are so many things you hunger after, but the Word of God says, you know, if you go after these things, you might get into trouble. And it might end up stealing your love for Jesus. So when we come to the book of John, John writes, and I want you to read together with me. Let's read together. Do not love the world or anything that is in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, comes not from the Father, but from the world. Verse 17. The world and its desires pass away, but the man who does the will of God lives forever. So John says to us this morning that you really can't run after the things of the world. You really can't love the world and say that you love Jesus at the same time. And there are three things he's going to tell us this morning that we're going to focus on. The first thing is that true love for Jesus is reflected by a rejection of the world's system. If you really love Jesus this morning, you're going to reject this system of the world today. And you might say, well, Chris, what does the writer mean when he says the world? The word he uses in Greek is cosmos. Can we say that together? Okay, that was like really weak. Anybody who is up and away, give me some more energy. Cosmos. All right. So when he uses the word cosmos, he's saying here any system that is contrary to the word of God. So when he says do not love the world, he's talking about values, he's talking about ideologies, he's talking about philosophies, thoughts, actions. When any of these are contrary to what the word of God says, John is implying that you cannot follow it and you cannot long after these things. And while we were away, we were in Trinidad. I was born in the Caribbean, and while we were there a few weeks ago for a wedding, we got news about a new law that was passed for all the states in America, where a man could be married, a woman and a woman could be married. And it's interesting, while the Word of God tells us that we must love each other, so we must love the person who decides to have a homosexual lifestyle. We must love them with the same passion that Christ loves us. But what does the Word of God say about it? And that's just an example when he says, do not love the world, even though the world might have a different philosophy. Even though the world might say, okay, it's okay for two men to be married and to adopt a child, and that's a family. What does the Word of God say about it? And this is where we need to think, am I willing to go along with what the world is saying? Or am I willing to follow Jesus? Do I really love Jesus more than the philosophies of the world? And you might say, well, Chris, if I think differently at school, my friends are going to say that, you know, I'm really awkward, or they might call me really strange, or they might think that I'm arrogant, thinking that I have all the truth and that God knows everything, and I might be out of the group. But the Bible tells us this morning, if you really love Him, you are willing to say no to the philosophies and values of this world, or the thoughts and actions. I remember when I was growing up, I don't know, do you all know any disco songs? You know, sometimes you saw people on television doing those things. When I was growing up, disco was the thing. And everybody would go to this night fever, night, and all of these things. But in my days, you could not go to the disco. I guess it's also the same thing today. And if I went to the disco, I was going to get in trouble from my parents and also at church. But everybody was going to the disco. And sometimes they'd be like, Chris, do you want to go to the disco on Friday night? We're going to have a cool time. We're going to boogie, woogie, woogie. And I was like, I'm sorry, the Word of God tells me something different. You know, it's not easy to say no to your friends when everybody is doing it, and especially when it feels good. But the Word of God says to us this morning that if you love Him, you are willing to reject the values of this world. And you might say, but Chris, why can't we love the world? And the idea is that if we love the world, we truly do not have love for God in our hearts. When he said, for if you love the world, the love of the Father is not in you. It doesn't mean that God's love is not in your heart, but it means that if you love the world and you really don't love Him as much as you say, when you go after the things of the world. You know, it's easy to say, I love you. Sometimes there's somebody who you really don't like, but, oh, I love you so much, but you really don't like them, but it sounds nice, so you say it. But he says that if it is you really love God, then you have no love in your heart if you go after the world. And then he also implies that you love two masters at the same time, God and materialism. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Stuff. Anybody here loves stuff? Okay, I see a few honest hands. Thank you for being honest. Anybody has a lot of stuff? Anyone has a lot of stuff that you don't need? Okay, I see more hands. We'll be talking about that. And then he says, when we run after the values of this world, we only pay lip service and our hearts are really far away from God. So the first thing this morning is that true love for God is reflected by a readiness to say no to the worldly values. The second thing, true love for Jesus is reflected by a renouncing of worldly lust. Did I say that word? Worldly lust and cravings. And in verse 16, he tells us about 3 different types of lust. In the original, the word used for lust or craving is epitomia. Can we say that together?
Epitomia.
Okay, and I'm going to test you at the end. The first word for the word was cosmos. The second, epito.
Yeah.
All right. And what does it mean? A desire for something that is forbidden. Now, it's used many times in the New Testament as a desire, but most of the times it's negative. When you say do not love the world and do not go after the lust, that word lust is something that you want that you cannot have. So for example, you go to the jewelry store. Any girls here, any ladies here love diamonds? I saw my wife raising her hand. Okay, anybody loves small diamonds? When you go and you see that lovely diamond, oh, I want it. Oh, I must have it. And you decide to, I'm going to get it anyhow. If I'm going to steal it, I want it. It's something that is there, it's in the store, it's not yours, but you really, really, really want it. Or if you need to be on a diet. Anyone here ever went on a diet? Anyone needs to be on a diet? My wife told me you need to lose this, Chris. But even though you're on a diet, when you see that nice food in front of you on Sunday, and you see about 5 different dishes, you know who loves chicken, who loves shrimp, tomato sauce, and curry sauce. However you like it. It's interesting, and you can't have it because you need to be on a diet. It's a struggle. But he says to us here that if it is you love God, you need to be aware of 3 different areas of lust. The first one he mentions in verse 16 is the lust of the flesh, or the cravings of sinful man. And here he's talking about illicit sexual behavior or thoughts. I was able to attend the purity service a few weeks ago, and it was wonderful. And I want to congratulate all of the young people for the vows that you all made before God. And to know that your parents and the church is behind you to help you keep those vows. And John addresses that a bit. He says that if you love him, you are willing to say no to the lust of the flesh. And when he talks about the illicit sexual behavior, he's talking about being involved in sexual relationships before you are married. He's talking about looking at pornography. He's talking about masturbation. He's talking about thoughts that don't glorify God. And let me ask something. If the next slide I was supposed to put there would be a slide of everything you have looked at on the internet or on your cell phone over the past year, is there anyone who would get up and run out of the church before your parents find out? Or would you sell popcorn and say, yes, you all can look at what I've been looking at. No problem, enjoy it. What do you look at on the internet when no one is around? What do you look at school on your cell phone? He says, be careful about the lust of the flesh. The purity vow was a vow where you're saying that until you are married, you're going to be faithful to God and you're going to keep yourself pure. What do you say when the boys at school, the guys at school come and say, oh, you know, I want to be involved with you? Or it's the other way around too. Now the girls are really straightforward. And they might come and say, you know, you're a real good looking guy, you're like a hunk, man, you should be called a hunk. And they want to be involved with you. What do you say? John says, if you love Jesus, you say no to the lust of the flesh. But he also talks about the lust of the eyes. And where I'm from in Trinidad, there's a saying that you have long eye. So if you really want everything you see, they say, wow, you've got a long eye. It doesn't mean that your eyes are long, but it's a saying that they use. Look at anybody next to you. Do you see anyone with long eyes?
Small.
I saw everyone doing this. Nobody wanted to have long eyes. But when he says long eyes, he's talking about acquisition of unnecessary material things. You already have 10 pairs of running shoes and you want another one. You just got a new computer and you want another one. You just got the iPhone 6 a few months ago and in September you want the iPhone 6S. And you're never satisfied with what you have. You just want and want and want. He says, if you love God, you are not going to be like folks who just want to gather things. Oh, she got a new dress, Mom. I need a new dress. Oh, you got a cool watch. I need a new watch. They said, if you love him, you're going to say no to the lust of the eyes. And then the third thing, he's talking about the pride of life. And he's talking about arrogant people who feel that they are better than other people because of what they know or what they have or who they know. Do you know anyone like that who's arrogant? But I know no one here in this church. In other places, you know, some people who are like, you don't know who I am, you don't know who my father is, you don't see my ride, you know, and because of what the person has, or what they do, or who they know, or their education, they think that they're better. John says to us this morning, if you love him, then we should remember that all that we have and all that we are come from him and belongs to him. And one of my favorite missionaries have favorite missionaries to Amy Carmichael. She was a missionary to India, and she worked with kids who were being sold into prostitution, and she saved many kids. She wrote, all that God has given to me, I hold with an open palm. so that if he may choose to remove anything, he freely may. She said, everything God has given to me. My good looks, I know you're saying, Pastor Chris, you're a punk. I know that, that's okay. But even the good looks, all that God has given to you, I hold in an open palm. My education, the material things I have, the money I have. And if God chooses to remove anything, he freely may. It's not a struggle that your hands are closed and it's so tight that God says, no, I want this, and you said, no, I'm not going to give it to you. And God says, I want it, and it's a struggle. He says, all that God has given to me, I hold with an open palm, because the pride of life doesn't control me. I understand that everything I have comes from him and belongs to him. And as we close this morning, the third thing I want to leave you with is that true love for God is reflected by a readiness to do God's will. That if you really love Jesus this morning, you're ready to obey him and you're ready to do his will. In verse 17, he says, the world is passing and also its desires. And this is our third word. So I'm going to help you. The first word was cosmos. The second word was epithumia. I know you knew it. You're just trying to remember it if I remember it. Epithumia. And the third word is paragetai. Let's go together. Paragetai. And that word that he uses is a short word with a long meaning. It means that this world is definitely, without any doubt, going to come to an end. And the implication is that if this world is definitely, without any doubt, going to come to an end, what should my response be? And I'll give you an example. Anyone here loves to go on vacation? Anyone would love to go to the Caribbean for a vacation with all expenses paid? All right. So let's imagine I say to you, I have a friend who's a millionaire and he wants to take his teen group to the Caribbean. A 7-day all-inclusive trip, everything paid. Is there anyone who's interested? Let me hear you say yeah. Okay, that was weak, man. That was weak. Yeah. It's the Caribbean. Let's go again. Yeah. All right. So we are coming on to the trip, and I'm saying, okay, guys, get ready. So we see all the guys going to the gym every day. They want to look good on the beach, and they're lifting the weights. And all of the ladies doing abdominals, flat abs when they go on the beach. And we're getting excited, and it's the week before the trip. And I say, hey guys, are you all still excited about the trip? Let me hear you say yeah. A little more excitement. Yeah. Okay. I said, but there's one little problem. I got a call from my friend, and he said that the pilot is kind of sick. He was flying over the Amazon in Brazil, and he got a temperature fever of about 140 degrees. I've never seen a temperature so high before, but he has some kind of disease from Brazil here. But we are still hoping that he'll get better and we can still go on the trip. Anybody still excited about the 7-day, all-inclusive, all-paid trip? Let me hear you say yeah. Okay, good. Even my wife is excited. And then when we come to the day before the trip, I said there's a problem. His fever rose. The doctors are stunned. 170 degree fever. Whoa. You just come near to him and you feel the heat, you can even roast a hot dog. Yeah? So hot. But we are trusting that he'll be fine and we can still go on the trip tomorrow. Anyone still excited? Let me hear you say yeah. Okay, and anybody has their bags packed already? Let me hear you say yeah. Okay, cool. So the day of the trip come, we are all at BWI. We go to Washington, we'll be leaving from there. And everyone come in. I know somebody thought that in the Caribbean there was no fried chicken, so they brought their box of Kentucky with them. And we are all excited and ready to go. And when we get there, I said, we have a problem. The pilot kicked the bucket. Some of you are too young to know what it means to kick the bucket. He died. The pilot died. But we could still go on the trip. There's hope. I will fly the plane. Now, anybody still going? Let me hear you say yeah. Okay, you're a faithful few here. Okay, where did all of you all go? Okay. And I said to my faithful few, if you're excited, let me hear you say yeah. Okay, but then I said to you, you know what? As soon as we go up, you're going to come down, because I have never flown a plane before. It's going to be the end of you, and it's going to be the end of me. Anyone still wants to go for the ride? Let me hear you say, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're going by yourself. I ain't going. It's interesting. That's just a funny story to say exactly what John is saying in verse 17. He says that in the same way, if you enter the plane with me, that we're going to go up and come down, and that will be it. In that very same way, this world is going to come to an end. And he's telling us, why then do we run after the things of the world? If we know it's going to come to an end, in that same way, why is it that we love these things more than Jesus this morning? Why is it that our friends are more important than Jesus? Why is it that going to a pool party or going to a basketball game is more important than coming to church or coming to pray? Why is it, if we really love Jesus this morning? He says, why do we invest so much of our time in these things? And I want to talk to you about three things as we close. Time. If you love Jesus, how much of your time do you give to him? Now, we always have time for us. I always have time for me. Anyone here goes to the hairdresser? Ladies, anyone here goes to the hairdresser? How long does it take? 10 minutes? A little bit more? 1 hour? A little bit more? 2 hours? Do we spend 2 hours in the Word of God? What do you do with your time? John Piper, he's a pastor in the US. He wrote something interesting. Let's read what he says together. One of the greatest uses of Twitter and Facebook, and I guess we could put in Instagram and WhatsApp and everything, will be to prove at the last day that prayerlessness was not from a lack of time. Anyone here uses WhatsApp?
We chat.
Oh, sorry, you chat. Okay, anyone here chat? We chat? Okay. Alright, WhatsApp is for the older guys, huh? Okay. We chat. Anyone Facebook? Anyone writes emails? Anyone texts? If you put all of that time that you text and we chat and Facebook and emails together in 1 week, does it compare to the time that you spend with Jesus? Now that wasn't a rhetorical, indirect question. Yes or no?
No.
Do we love Jesus? Do we spend time with the people we love?
Yes.
Some people are like, no, okay, that answer should be yes. It's interesting. If you love him, how much of your time do you need to surrender to him? The second thing, your resources, your finances. Even though you're young, you could have finances too. You don't have to spend it all on yourself, because in the end you'll never be satisfied. He says that if you love Jesus, you're willing to give up your finances to help others, you're willing to give up your finances at church for the work of God, and you just don't think about spending it all on yourself, because we get so tied up into materialism. Do you remember I told you about stuff? Like if we like stuff, and if we have too much stuff, and if we always love to buy stuff. He says, if you love Jesus, you need to work on that area of your heart too. That not only your time, but the resources that he has given to you. And then the last thing, your talents. Serving others before God. Did you know that each of you all have a talent? And you're saying, Chris, if you know me, I'm like totally talentless. You don't know me. Each of you all have a talent, a God-given spiritual gift to be used. The Bible tells us that each one, once you know Jesus as Savior, you have been given a spiritual gift, a talent to use for what? To encourage each other to use in church and also to glorify God. Is there anyone here who's involved in a ministry at church? You serve somewhere in church? Yeah, I see a few hands. Anyone who doesn't serve in church, you just come? Let me see your hands too. Okay, all who just serve, let me see your hands. That you don't have a ministry, but you just come. No, I don't know if it's true, so you need to help me, Jeff. You can turn around and look.